Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So if you've been dealing with hair loss and you've been doing your research, you've probably come across red light therapy devices. I've talked about them extensively on my channel, but I've never done a run through on which ones are actually worth your money. So that's exactly what we're diving into today. I've researched and compared 6 of the most effective FDA-cleared devices for hair growth. So we're looking at everything from entry level all the way to the premium helmets. And I want to preface this all by saying that this video is not sponsored. I thought that was really important for a comparison video. So I'm going to get into the science, the specs, and the pros and cons for each device so you can make the best, most informed decision for yourself and your hair loss. Before we get into this video, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. So before we get into comparing devices, let's get into the science behind how red light therapy actually helps to regrow your hair. So these devices emit light at very specific wavelengths, usually between 625 and 680 nanometers. And that light wavelength can penetrate the scalp and reach the base of your hair follicles. So at that level, the light is absorbed by an enzyme in your cells called cytochrome C oxidase. You can think of this enzyme as like the light switch for your cells. When it's stimulated, your mitochondria, which is the energy center for your cells, produces more ATP, which is like fuel for your cells. With more energy, your cells can spend more time in the growth phase of the hair growth cycle. There's also evidence that red light therapy can also help to reduce oxidative stress and inflammation around the follicle, both of which play a role in hair thinning. Now, results aren't instant. Most people need to use these devices about 4 to 6 months before you can see any visible changes. And the best results are usually seen at the 12-month mark. But when you combine them with all the other things that I talk about, like good nutrition, stress management, supplementing your nutrient deficiencies, scalp care, you can really make a huge difference in your hair loss. Okay, so now that we've got the science out of the way, let's get into what to look for when you're purchasing your device. So the first one is going to be diode type and count. So the main thing you want to understand is that lasers can penetrate deeper while LEDs spread light more broadly. And the more diodes that you have, the more uniform the coverage. Okay, number 2 is wavelength. Most devices target around 650 nanometers, which is ideal for follicle stimulation. And number 3 is form. Some are combs, some are bands, some are full-blown helmets or caps. Hands-free devices are easier to use. Number 4 is session time and frequency. Some require use of 3 minutes a few times a week, while others require 30 minutes every other day. You want to look for something that fits your lifestyle. And finally, you want to look for FDA clearance and warranty. Make sure the device has been cleared and is safe for use at home, and that you're protected if it doesn't work out for you. All right, let's get into these devices now. We're starting off with the most affordable option. This is the HairMax Ultima 9 LaserComb. This one usually sells for around $219, and everything that I'm quoting today is in US dollars. It has only 9 laser diodes, so it's not exactly full coverage. Instead, you comb it across your scalp really slowly for about 11 minutes, a few times every week. So what happens with the comb is that the teeth of the comb are helping part your hair so that the lasers can reach the scalp. The pros here are the low price, obviously, and the fact that HairMax has some published clinical studies showing improvement in hair density and thickness. The downside is that it's manual. You have to move it yourself across every part of your scalp, and if you don't move it evenly, some parts can receive more light and some parts not so much. Now, who this device is best for. This is ideal for somebody who's just starting to notice thinness in their hair, like around the hairline or the temples, and who wants to try red light therapy without making a huge financial commitment. Okay, now for the second device, this is the HairMax LaserBand 41, and this one is priced at around $599. This device has 41 medical grade lasers built into a headband design, and the headband has teeth in it so it can part the hair to help the light penetrate the follicles. Now the treatment time for this one is only 3 minutes, but you do have to move the band to cover all parts of your scalp. Now scientifically, the big upgrade here compared to the comb is the diode density. 41 diodes provides much more coverage than just 9. So instead of manually tracing lines across your scalp, you're covering whole sections of your scalp with light at once. That increases the chance of stimulating a larger section of hair follicles during each session. The pros in this situation is speed, definitely. This is one of the quickest treatments available. The cons is obviously that you have to move the band physically to get full scalp coverage. Still, it's a lot less work than the comb, and it's a nice mid-range option. Okay, we're moving on to the cap category, and we're starting off with the Kiierr 272 Premier. This one typically costs anywhere from $900 to $1,000 depending on sales. It has 272 laser diodes, which gives you full scalp coverage in one session. This is why I'm a fan of caps and helmets. Each treatment requires about 30 minutes of use every other day. So from a scientific perspective, this is where you start to see a much higher concentration of lasers focused on the scalp, which means that the photons are more evenly distributed. And what that means for your hair growth is that more uniform exposure has been linked to better outcomes in clinical studies because it reduces the risk of leaving untreated patches. The pros are that it's completely hand-free and the diode count is really good for this price. They also offer a 7-month growth guarantee, which is great. The cons is that 30 minutes does feel a little bit long and missing sessions can reduce your results. But if you can build the habit, it is a really excellent choice in terms of value in the cap category. Okay, let's move on to another option at this same price range. And this is the Theradome Pro LH80. This one is priced around $995, and this helmet contains 80 red laser diodes. And the diodes are set at about 680 nanometers. And this particular wavelength is known for penetrating deeper. Now this one you use for just 20 minutes twice a week. And I know it sounds like it has less diodes, but let's get into the science behind this one. Even though it has fewer diodes, because this wavelength is slightly longer, it means that the photons may reach a bit deeper into the dermis where the hair follicle stem cells live. Now the pros here are obviously that you only have to use it twice a week and for less amount of time, which makes it a little bit easier to stay consistent. And the cons is that the coverage isn't quite as dense as, say, a 272 diode one. So results may vary depending on the extent of your thinning. So only you know yourself and your routine best and how often you actually want to have to use your machine. Okay, now we're getting into the slightly higher price points. Starting off with the HairMax Powerflex 272 cap. This one costs about $1,700, and like the Kiierr, it has 272 diodes, but the key difference is treatment time. With the Powerflex, the session times are about 7 minutes long, 3 times a week. Now scientifically, the short treatment time comes from the way the lasers are pulsed and distributed. The company has optimized the power output so you can achieve the same dose of light energy in a shorter amount of time. And that is definitely a big pro. You're still getting the coverage of a high diode cap, but without the 30-minute time commitment. And the con is that it's a much higher price point, so you're paying for that ease of use. Okay, and finally, let's get into my personal favorite red light therapy device. And if you've seen my videos, you know I'm talking about the iRestore. I have been using the iRestore for years now. I started off with the iRestore Pro device, which is a fantastic device. This one has 282 diodes. You use it for 25 minutes every other day. It also has the option to use a portable battery pack, so you're not actually having to be plugged into the wall or anything. You can walk around and do your own thing. And it worked really well for me for this bald patch that I had that was not filling in no matter what else I was doing. Within 5 to 6 months, it filled that in. So I was hooked ever since then. And the iRestore Pro prices at around $999 to $1499, so it's a really fantastic mid-range option. And they're always having sales. I have links for all of the products that I'm talking about in the description box below. And for iRestore, I have a couple of codes I can add in there. I also love that the iRestore devices combine both LEDs and lasers. So you can get the depth of coverage as well as that spread of light. And finally, let's talk about the iRestore Elite, which is the one that I'm currently using. This is the premium option out of this entire list. And it's priced at around $2,500, but they're always having sales. And like I said, I'll include a code for you guys so you can save if this is the option that you go for. And the reason why I love the Elite is because it contains 500 diodes. That includes 300 lasers for depth and 200 LEDs for a spread of coverage. And it also uses 3 different wavelengths, so 625, 655, and 680 nanometers. This one I find the easiest to use because it's only 12 minutes every single day, and I find that if you have to do something every single day, it's easier to remember than if you had to do it like a few times a week, because then you like have to set a reminder to do it. Now from a scientific perspective, this is one of the few devices on the market that takes a multi-wavelength approach. In different wavelengths, what we know is that they penetrate at a different depth in your scalp. And by combining them, the Elite device can target both the superficial vascular network, which supplies nutrients to the follicles, and the deeper follicular stem cell regions. So compared to the iRestore Pro, it has nearly double the diodes and coverage. Both are FDA cleared, and the pros here are that they both offer maximum coverage compared to other devices in the Elite's instant triple wavelength technology and relatively short daily sessions. And the cons, obviously the price point is a lot higher, so it's definitely a bigger investment, but these machines are built to last, so you'll have yours for a while. And like I said, it's my personal favorite. So now for when it comes to which one is right for you, obviously you're gonna have to look at your budget, you're gonna have to look at your lifestyle and what's realistic for you to use on a consistent basis, because you guys know I'm always saying that consistency is the most important thing when it comes to achieving hair growth results. You want to look at the extent of your hair loss. Are you just starting to thin, or do you have more extensive hair loss? You'll have to look at whether you want to manually move a device or if you want something that you can just put on and not have to worry about. And just whatever device that you end up choosing, there are no overnight fixes. These things take time. Using a red light therapy device takes time and consistency of use. At first, you'll probably notice a decrease in shedding, and then after that, you'll start to notice growth. And clinical studies show that red light therapy can significantly increase hair density, so the science is there. And just make sure that you're combining it with other things that are important for hair growth. I have a ton of videos on my channel that you can go through to help with your hair loss. So there you have it, 6 of the top FDA-cleared devices for hair growth at different price points. So I really hope that this video helped you decide on which one that you want to use. And if you have any more questions at all, just let me know in the comments and let me know if there are any requests for future videos. So thank you so much for watching. If you know of anybody that needs to watch this, please share it with them. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and I'll see you guys soon with another video. Take care.